Hey guys, it's Felix, Bill from Felix.com, and I've been seeing a lot of gamers, Juice recently, and I just watched his video, been talking about what power gaming is to them, and some of them are, I guess, in search of a definition rather than, well, they want more clarification on what others think a power gamer is rather than what people are just coming out and saying power gaming is bad, but they're not really giving you an idea of what's wrong. And I think Juice, his video was a little rambly, but I guess I have that same problem, so who am I to criticize? But I think his ideas were right. I think that one of the things that Juice was doing was he's breaking down the if you think of power gaming as an overall virus, and you break down the symptoms of that virus into categories, Juice touched on a bunch of the various things that power gamers do, but he didn't. I don't think that he saw that as one gamer putting all those problems together. You see, if you've got, for instance, some of the categories, and I may not remember all the ones that he brought up, because his was like a 30-something minute video, and he was driving. He was talking about this for a while. This is still talking about Juice, and I can't remember who the original video was that he was replying to. So if it's you, I apologize. Send me a comment, and I'll note you in the comments below. But I think one of the things that like when you break down those symptoms and you start talking about, say, the spotlight hog, the optimizer, the last thing that he called a power gamer, I would call more of a director. And what I mean by a director is someone who comes to the table and he says, well, you're not playing your character right, you need to do it like this, or you didn't write your character up correctly, you should change that to be like this. And then he's upset if you're not listening to what he's telling you should do, because he feels like he's the more experienced one. Then he also talked about the rules lawyer, and he talked about the there's a bunch of different little symptoms. But I think a true power gamer, at least my definition of that, is somebody that has all of those symptoms rolled into one problematic player. So I haven't really seen anybody in a long time that has done that. Now, I won't tell you how old I am, but I've been playing for a long time. Way back in the day when we were playing Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, and that gives you a little bit of a clue. I had a friend of mine who was a spotlight hog, an optimizer, and he had like 3 or 4 of the symptoms, and he was not fun to play with. But to me, the idea of calling someone a power gamer, I think you're trying to label just what you consider to be a bad player. And we can all sit down here and throw opinions at one another. You should do this better, you should do that better, you're not doing it like I do it, so I don't think you're right. But that really makes us the asshole. So the thing that everyone needs to be better at is understanding each different player has their own way of playing, and it is not my place to tell you how to best play the game. The game and the rules are designed so that everyone at the table can have fun. So if you're not having fun with a particular play style or with a particular person, then you need to work on your own ability as a player to bring fun back into it for yourself. It's not about what the guy across the table is doing from you. Or if I'm in where I'm at Texas, and let's say that I'm playing with Matt Click from A Fistful of Dice online, and Matt does something that I don't like, it's not, that doesn't affect Matt's play, he's doing something he enjoys that makes the game fun for him. So if I have a problem with the way Matt's playing the game, which, Matt, if you're watching this, I don't. I've liked every game I've watched you play and GM. But if I have a problem with the way he's playing the game, then really the problem is me. So rather than label other players as that guy's a power gamer, you just need to understand that you have a problem with how that person is doing what they're doing. And then you need to calm down, take a deep breath, and come at it from a different angle. Don't let that player's play style ruin your enjoyment of the game. And I think the key to this really is not to tag those labels on anybody. You know what I mean? And we're having a big thing right now, and I'm from Texas. I'm from the far south. And when you're looking on a map that's talking about right wing and left wing, you don't get much more blood red than Texas. And I don't fit into any categories for anybody. I consider myself much more purple than red or blue when you're talking about Democratic or Republican. But if you're thinking about society as a whole, some of the labels that are being thrown around right now and the changes that have been made, whether you agree with or disagree with the policies that are being put into play or the laws that are being changed, whether you agree with or disagree with other people's lifestyle choices, all of that stuff is your problem. It's not theirs. So people need to calm down, you know, and get back to what part of the game it is that you enjoy playing, and stop worrying about what other people at the table are doing. So make the character that you want to play that's going to be fun for you. If you come across a symptom, say spotlight hog, if you're online, send a message to that person and ask them, hey, I kind of feel like you might be taking up a little bit too much of the spotlight. Let's share that, you know. Be polite about it. Be professional about it. Be friendly. But make sure that the GM and that the other players at the table are all aware that you have a problem. And then if they're not going to fix that for you, find another table. Walk away. It's not really up to them. It's up to you. You're the one that has the issue. As long as the other people at the table are enjoying themselves, then you should be enjoying yourself, and you need to do what you need to do to make the game fun again. Not worry about the optimizer at the table or the director at the table that's trying to tell everybody how to play their character or write it up or whatever. The min-max guy, the you know, spotlight hog, or power gamers. Don't worry about what they're doing. Worry about what you want to do. When I was in high school, the store that I started, I had a guy that had several of those issues, and I didn't enjoy playing with him. Every time I came to a game, whether he was the GM, and he GM'd quite a few too, or whether he was a player in the game, I always felt like he was trying to steer the spotlight onto him, make sure that his character was the most powerful, and that he could easily walk through any obstacle that the GM or that the story put in front of him. And to me, the enjoyment of the game isn't about being able to solve the puzzle or destroy the bad guy or the monster or whatever as quickly as possible and get on to the next step. For me, the enjoyment is the working out of the puzzle. It's the journey. When the GM gives you the options of his realm, whether he's doing sandbox or railroad, whatever his choices are, when he tells you this is where my story starts, this is where you guys are, and this is what's happening, and you make a decision to go and start doing something, the journey begins. It's kind of like when you're watching Lord of the Rings. How good would that movie have been if somebody said, here, Frodo, here's a magic power ring that is going to take over the world and be evil and it'll destroy everything. It's going to give this one guy the power to control everything. So we need this destroyed. And he goes, oh, no problem. Gandalf, give me an eagle. Eagle flies him over Mount Doom. Boom. Game over. Would that have been a fun show? Did you enjoy that movie? No, because it wasn't about, did he get the ring destroyed? We knew in the beginning of that story that that's what's going to happen. We knew that at the end of the movie, the ring would have to be destroyed, that the bad guy would have to be defeated. But the parts of the story that you enjoy the most were Pippin and Merry being kidnapped by orcs, finding a tree ant and being walked into Sauron's tower where he was setting up everything. All the parts of the journey, the little bits and pieces that made that story enjoyable, was all the little puzzle pieces that fell together as the action played out. So focus on the journey, stop focusing on the destination. If you guys are power gamers and your whole thing is, I want to focus on the destination, I won't play with you. Go to your own table. But that doesn't mean that you don't have a right to play that way. Just find other players that enjoy that play style, and you get together and play with them. So that's my 2 cents on power gaming. I really feel like by labeling and pointing your finger at the other guy, you got to remember there's an old thing that my grandma used to tell me, and I'm sure she is not the one that came up with this, but whenever I point my finger at you, I have 3 more fingers here pointing right back at myself. So there's a little spot in front of your eyes that you have a tendency not to look past. These are your problems, and they seem huge to you because they're really close. But that guy on the other side of the table, he doesn't even see your spot around his. So don't point your finger at his spot. Don't say, oh, you've got a problem. We all know we have problems. The point of any game at a table is to be fun. So if you're not having fun with the players that you're with, find other players. With the size of our community, online and in the various cities that we're at, there is no way that you can tell me you can't find somebody to go out and play the game with. Somebody new. So enjoy, guys. That's my 2 cents on the whole power gaming issue.